So I accidentally took this video that you're about to watch with like the fisheye lens on my GoPro, but I am not going to redo the video. So you get to look at a distorted, or you know how they do those big dog faces? It's kind of what it looks like. Oh well. Hey everyone, so I just thought I would share my story of what's been going on with me. I have been struggling big time for the last month was the absolute worst, but this stuff has been going on for probably about 5 years. And now that I have more of a diagnosis, I realize this has been going on for way longer than that, but it's just been getting worse and worse throughout the years. So it started probably about 5 years ago. I just started not really having trouble when I would be out in nature hiking. Hiking is one of my favorite things to do. And when I was out there, I'd be in the middle of a trail, and especially if it got hot, if it got hotter and warmer, I just felt like I was going to pass out. I didn't know what was going on with me. I didn't know what was wrong. All I knew was it felt like I was going to pass out, like I was going to have a heart attack. My heart was just going, and I would start to, there's no other way to describe it, but I would get this funny smell, this sense of smell, like right before I felt like I was going to pass out. And I mean, I hike alone all the time, so I was always by myself, and it got worse and worse to the point where I was having like blackout things in the middle of nowhere. Like one day I just left for work and like everything just was going black, and I called my work and said, I'm on the way to the ER. There's something not right with me. At night, what was going on before I went to the ER, that was probably about 4 years ago. I didn't know what was going on, but it always was very, very bad at night. That was the worst. But if I would try to work out at home or do anything, I would just feel like I'm going to pass out. I thought I was having a heart attack. It would be mostly at nighttime. Then I would just, all of a sudden my heart would start palpitating. I just don't have any way to explain it, but I would just have this feeling come over my whole entire body. I would start to get freezing cold. I would start to get sick to my stomach. I would start to convulse and shake. And literally, it just felt like I was dying. Something was wrong, like the life was leaving from my body. And I just started going into panic mode then. I didn't know what to do. I was by myself. I would constantly be calling people at night. And it was always the worst, it seemed like, after I went to bed. I would get woken up with this feeling of this sensation like life was leaving my body. It was in my hands and mostly in my feet. It just was the strangest sensation, and it would wake me up, and it would go in intervals like this about every 6 minutes. I would try to go back to sleep, and it would wake me up again. I would try to go back to sleep, and it just was pure torture. There's no other way to say it, but it was just pure torture. I couldn't sleep at night anymore. And it was every night I was just being tortured, and I didn't know what was wrong. And then during the day, no matter what I did, if I went up just the simplest flight of stairs, I was just having such chest pains. So when that blackout happened, I finally went to the emergency room. They hooked me up on stuff. They did all these tests, and they said, you're fine. Your heart is fine. There's no issues. There's nothing wrong. Your blood work is fine. You don't have high blood pressure. You're not. They did all the blood work. They did everything. I'm not, diabetic. I'm not. I went through all of these tests and all of these things, and they had no answers for me. Basically felt like I was crazy. And I just said, whatever this is, it's been getting worse and worse. And so went to the medical doctor, had tests done, had cardiologists, had the heart monitors strapped up to you. And, the weirdest thing I have to say is they told me, but don't do any exercise while you have the heart monitor on. And I'm like, well, that's when it seems to be the worst. Whenever I exert myself and do something, that's when I'm having the issues. Don't we need to track that? And they said, no, we just want a baseline for your heart. So we went with that and saw the specialist, the cardiologist, and he basically said, all your tests are good. You're just overweight and you don't feel good, right? And I was by myself. I had no advocate. And so I just said, yeah, I guess so. But really, yes, I was getting more and more overweight because I haven't been able to work out, because I haven't been able to be active. And I was so frustrated. I said I wasn't going to cry during this. I was so frustrated because I felt so much shame that it made me feel like I was lazy or something, and I was just getting fat because of that. And it's just not the truth. I am an active person and I do like to be out doing things, but I just suddenly couldn't do anything. And if I exerted myself, I felt like I was going to pass out. And so they basically made me feel like I was crazy, like I was just having panic attacks and it was all in my head. And so I just continued to suffer with this. I didn't know. I started doing food journaling and I started noticing patterns because I thought, okay, I need to figure this out myself. I need to be my own advocate. So I just started food journaling. I started, writing down every time I would have an attack, what happened, what was I doing? It was with exertion. It was heat when I would get warm. If it was like upper 70s in the sunshine or 80 degrees and above, I couldn't do any type of exertion. I couldn't wait for winter because, oh good, it's cooler now and I can do some hiking, and I would still be able to do hiking then, but just still had my limits. But boy, the summertime came and I was out. So I started noticing patterns with certain foods, and I talked to a friend of mine who was amazing. Her name was Mary. And she told me, it sounds like you have histamine issues. And I was like, what? This is with food. And lo and behold, there is histamines in foods. I had no idea. So I started looking up what foods are high histamines. And sure enough, all the triggers, the things that gave me triggers as things were getting worse, was high histamine foods. So I thought, great, I'll just, get high histamine foods out of my diet. And I did get quite a bit better. I still was not able to work out. I still, it got worse. I couldn't hike by myself anymore. The interesting thing was I was able to kayak. I could kayak hard, paddle hard across a lake, and I was okay. But when it came to going up the hills, getting the kayak out, lifting the kayak, any exertion, putting the kayak up on my car, I would just get chest pains and feel like I was gonna start to pass out. And it was embarrassing. I'm leading groups down rivers and having to tell people I can hardly make it up this hill. I just kept saying this is histamine issues and, I'm trying to work on it. And it just kind of came to a head, I would say, January, things just started getting really bad. And it wasn't just high histamine foods. It started being all sorts of foods were triggering things. And how many people can you call in the middle of the night? I would go on my phone and just hope that somebody was awake to be there to pray for me, because I was so scared. I didn't want to die alone and just be found, dead in my home. It's just, I don't know, to die alone just feels so wrong. And I was so scared because this was just getting worse and worse. And many of you, I've had to call on you and message you in the middle of the night and just ask you to pray for me because, and thank you for all of you who did that, who lifted me up in prayer, because let me tell you, this thing has rocked my faith to the core. I am a big believer in God and Jesus. And wow, it has just made me feel like I've cried out to God and I've asked him to help me and to heal me. And my prayers were going unanswered, except for that I wasn't dying from it every single time. So it really rocked my faith. And I still to this day don't understand why God didn't just heal me. Maybe it's because he wants me to help somebody else. And that's why I'm doing this video, because maybe there's somebody else there that's suffering from these unexplained things, and you just need to know that you're not alone. God loves you and he cares for you, and you're not alone. And we live in a fallen world, and we don't understand why certain things happen. We just don't. This is not heaven, and this place called Earth is not perfect. So my hope is that I will be able to help somebody else out there who doesn't know what's going on with them. So about, I don't even know now, maybe 3 weeks ago, I ended up in the emergency room again because it was to the point where I wasn't even able to eat any food. I was having severe reactions. My heart was just going bananas. That just my body would go freezing cold. I was just shaking, having convulsions. I was throwing up. Just to go up the stairs in my home gave me such chest pains, and I couldn't breathe. And by the third time that it happened, it was like 3 days in a row. Then it just sent me into a panic attack, the last one, because there was just so much pain in my chest and I felt like I was going to pass out. And so I just said, that's it. I got to do this again. I have to go to the emergency room to know for sure that I'm not having a heart attack. What is happening? And I hadn't been able to eat. I'd been not eating for days. I've been fasting and trying to take antihistamines. I was like living on those pink Benadryls and some detox shakes. Once those got into my body, my symptoms would start to get better and the convulsions would go down and my body temperature would come back and everything just got a little bit better. But any food was causing these severe reactions. So I researched food and it just seemed to be so much more than just histamine reactions. And so everything led to something called MCAS, which is mast cell activation syndrome. And it's where your food, it hits your body and your body just triggers massive reactions and throws out more histamines into your body. And so you go into fight or flight mode. It were my symptoms. Some people just have rashes after they eat. And, everybody has different levels. Some people go into anaphylactic and they have to go to the emergency room and, EpiPens. And thank God mine wasn't hitting my throat and my lungs. Sometimes my throat does get tight, but it is not like that. Mine is, my body goes into more of the tachycardia, my heart, and the fight or flight mode, the extreme cold and throwing up and all of that. So I went to the emergency room, told them my symptoms, told them what was going on. Again, the first lady, the intake nurse, as soon as she heard that, after I had the chest pains, I said, I just was so scared, and then I lost feeling in my arms and my hands, and she's like, oh, that's a panic attack. And I said, I know. I realized that I started to panic after I went up the stairs and had the chest pains again. And so, sorry. I just had people praying for me. We needed to get to the bottom of this. I couldn't live like this anymore. I was very suicidal. I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't live like this. This was not a quality of life, and I just wasn't going to do it anymore. And if they didn't have an answer for me, I was just going to be done. I was going to be done. And so we were all praying for just a really good emergency room doctor who wouldn't send me through the same loops and hoops and just tell me there's nothing wrong with me. And I told her my history, how I had been to a cardiologist before, and they just basically said, that I was overweight and, I just needed to exercise. And, well, how do you do that if you can't? And God, answered prayer, and he had the most amazing emergency doctor. And she was able to diagnose me, she said, with, everything she believed, that I had POTS. And I was like, what is that? It's POTS, and it's postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And she told me to research it, and there are some tests that can be done to see if that's what I have. She said there's some other issues going on of, why I was reacting to food. She wasn't sure about that. They don't know about nutrition, so she really didn't know where to send me as far as that. It's not a food allergy because I would go into anaphylactics. So there's food sensitivities, obviously. Sure enough, you guys, I looked into this POTS, and it explains so much. Going way back into my 20s and early 30s, I remember when it started, I would go on some hikes, and I would, anytime I do an incline to start to kind of work my heart, I would just feel this major chest pain, and I feel like I was going to pass out, and didn't know what it was. And that was a long time ago. This has been going on for a really long time and just getting worse. And I asked the ER doctor to please, I thought maybe I had leaky gut, really bad leaky gut, where every time I ate, the food was getting into my bloodstream. And she tested all the way down into my intestines, and everything looked great. So I went back from going, okay, so it's not leaky gut. What is this? Then I went back to the mast cell activation syndrome. And lo and behold, when you start to do the research, the mast cell activation and the POTS they just go hand in hand. And so you really do have to watch what you eat. God was able to get me, show me a natural antihistamine that I can take before I eat. And I had to do it before I could eat anything. I could not put anything in my mouth without reacting so severely, so fatigued, and so I just couldn't move. It was awful. I couldn't go on. But I kept taking this stuff before I ate, and I went on an all absolute just lettuce. I would eat lettuce and celery and onions. I just did a lot of research on POTS and mast cell activation and what foods start healing your body. And talked to my friend who's a naturopath, and went on to support groups, and many people said, you can go to doctors and you can try to get tests for food sensitivities and whatnot, but you can figure it out on your own better than going and spending thousands and thousands of dollars again. And my friend who's a naturopath said as well, it's just, you have to heal your body. You have to just eat completely all natural and find the nutrition that your body needs to heal this sickness. It's an autoimmune disease is what this is. And autoimmune diseases can be healed naturally. There's nothing that medical doctors can do for this. I was going to go to a functional medicine doctor, and I called the clinic, and I talked extensively with them first and told them what I was doing and asked them if there was anything different that they would be doing. And they basically said, no, we would do some more testing, but you're doing all of the right things. So I'm going to keep on this track for 3 to 4 months and see if I can really start to heal my body. I've already noticed a difference, thank God. I did some testing just yesterday, and I was able to eat something and not take my natural allergy stuff at all, and I didn't have a reaction at all. So that tells me that my body is on the way to healing. I'll list and I'll show you what I'm taking and what I'm doing, but I am finally starting to feel better. This last weekend, I'm sorry, I was able to go up my stairs without feeling like I was going to have a heart attack. And it's just the best feeling in the world. And the thing with POTS is, it's with any exertion. Everybody has different levels of it. Some people can't even get out of bed in the morning. And so I could have it a lot worse. The reason that I was getting my reactions so late, those would be like on weekends, or if I stayed up and watched a movie and ate popcorn. The popcorn would be a trigger, or the avocado that I ate ended up being a trigger, you know, things I just wasn't putting together yet. So that's the reason that my triggers were happening so late at night, because my body had just maxed out. And a lot of times in the summertime, I'm gone. As soon as work is done, I was grabbing like meat sticks and things that were high in histamines. I didn't know that. They were all natural, no preservatives, no extra added stuff, and cheese and black olives, things that I didn't know that were just making me worse and worse, even though I thought they were decent foods. I'd go out kayaking, and then, I'd come home and eat dinner at 9, 10 o'clock at night. And that's just the way my summers would go. So my reactions would end up being late into the night, and then they would go on and on and on. And I'm not having those anymore, so thank God. And because my body had reached the limit of antihistamines. And so you really have to eat the lowest amount of histamines and keep your body at low histamine levels, and then get your body to heal the T cells that are misfiring the mast cell, which is misfiring. So you just have to heal all the cells in your body, and your body, if you be good to your body will be good to you. But with the POTS, it's the exertion thing, and so it's getting better. Being able to go up the stairs without feeling like that is amazing. I don't know what will happen with my kayak season. I hope I can make it up the hills. This summer, I'm working really hard to heal my body, but I don't know if I have to give that up. That would be really sad. People are great though, and I know that people will help me, and I'm doing everything that I can to heal my body. But I just wanted to share my story. And if there's anybody out there that is struggling and you're feeling like you are at the end, you're not alone. Any and all prayers that have been lifted up for me have been greatly appreciated. I love my family so much. Without my parents, oh my gosh, I just wouldn't have made it through this. I can't tell you how many times I called my mom at, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and she would just walk me through, and she would pray for me and pray with me until the symptoms went away. And just amazing friends. Oh my gosh, you know who you are, all my game girls. Just amazing. Thank you for being there for me. And why has this gotten so much worse? I don't know if it's stress. I moved into a place 2 years ago, and the upstairs lady is just awful. She's just an awful person, and there's just something not right up in her head that she would do such mean things. I'm not a mean person, and I don't understand. Very vindictive. I just stay away from her, and I don't talk to her if at all possible. But it's been pure torture for 2 years. I've been here about 2.5 years now. And I need to move, but the economy is not good for buying a house right now. And I love the place. It's really sad, but that's been a huge stress. My job was really stressful for a while. But I've been working from home for quite a while, almost this whole winter now. That's been way stressless. Every job has some stress, but it's been much better. So has it been the stress that's compounded things? Probably. I don't know. Was I eating like an angel? No. But I'm eating like an angel now. Except for our last game night. I did take a bunch of histamine stuff, and I had some Girl Scout cookies. And I didn't react. I just took some extra histamine stuff, and I didn't react to any of it. So that's pretty amazing. I'm pretty hopeful. I have hope. And, the Bible talks about that. Without hope, our life is just really hard. So hang on to hope, and we have to focus on the positive things. Get the support that you need, find support groups, and do your own research. Medical doctors don't really know about nutritional things. So find a functional medicine doctor. If you're at your wit's end, you can't just keep taking pills because those pills have side effects and those side effects need more pills, and round that goes. Find as much natural stuff as you can. There is so much information on YouTube out there. That peace of mind for me, knowing that I'm not going to die. Yes, I will pass out if I don't sit down, and I have to have lots of extra water, lots of extra electrolytes in order to keep my body regulated. So now I know my limits. When I do feel like I'm going to pass out, I just need to sit down and drink water and have lots of water with me. I was really bad at doing that. I'd have maybe one bottle of water with me. I'd go hiking all day long and not feel well. And yeah, I could have passed out alone in the woods. That would have just been awful. So I've learned my limitations, and I don't know. I just have a lot of hope and a lot of faith that I'm going to get better. I'm going to heal myself naturally. The power that made the body heals the body. So that's my story. Thanks for listening, and take care. One of the things that I did that was really helpful for me is I wrote down a list of all the low histamine foods. I would try the certain foods, and if I had more severe reactions to it, I would cross it off my list and I wouldn't eat that. I have my absolute things that I know cause reactions for me, and I put them down here. And that's about it. That really, really helped me to focus on all of the things that I could eat instead of focusing on the things that I couldn't eat. The more you list, it just makes you feel better about the things that you can eat versus, oh my gosh, I can't eat anything. So get a list of the foods that work for you. Start a food journal. What causes reactions and what doesn't. Don't try a whole bunch of new things all the time. You need to put things in slowly. Start out slowly, but take the things that you need to take in order to be able to eat the food that you need to be able to eat. Okay, so this is how it started out for me. I was only able to eat just lettuce and celery. I started adding things in like radishes. I just started adding in broccoli recently, and the first couple of days, I think it was a little rough, but my body has adjusted to it now. So I recommend making your salads in mason jars like this. They're worth every penny. Go buy some and make your salads ahead of time. Take the time. Just take a little bit of time. Just shove as much stuff in here as you can, and then you just bang it out and eat it. On my salads, this is all that I had was my extra virgin olive oil. I will take like this and run it twice over my salad, and I put that much on there. It is so, so good for you. This just came. I just got it this weekend. The absolute best olive oil that you can do for your body is the Moroccan olive oil. It just has the most polyphenols in it because it is made like in dry desert area, so it forces the nutrition into the olives. It's pretty amazing. Every day I cut bits, probably 4 slices of ginger root off, and just let my water soak it up. It's very anti-inflammatory. That's one of the things that I've been doing. I was able to start for breakfast. I do chia seeds, and I just fill water up into here, and then I do like 2 tablespoons of chia seeds and just kind of shake it every once in a while. But I just pour some into the bottom of like a coffee cup, just like this much. And then I'll put organic frozen blueberries in it. And then I started out doing almond milk. I was still having a lot of issues. And I learned that, the nuts in the almond milk probably wasn't doing me any good. As soon as I switched over to hemp milk, it was a game changer. Did much, much better with hemp milk. And so I eat that for breakfast. It's like my cereal. It's yummy. I do this detox drink once a day. Minerals are super important. And this has a bunch of minerals that I'm getting back into my body. And just detoxing things out of my body that shouldn't be in my body. So I will do this detox drink once a day, and I put this in my shake with the liposomol C and the liposomol glutathione. This is what your body needs to help your body heal your T cells for the mast cell activation, and this vitamin C. So I take 2 teaspoons twice a day. So it's a little over a tablespoon a day. Getting this glutathione to get your T cells to react better. And then it will get your mast cells reacting better. So we have to heal. And this comes from your kidneys. And so we just need to get our body producing this on its own again. So I'm doing this until my body starts reacting properly again. I'll throw peaches or the frozen blueberries in this detox shake to sweeten it up just a bit. This stuff tastes like crap. This is the one. I can't even smell it. It just makes me want to vomit. So this is the one I have to plug my nose. I'll mix it with that one or just mix it in the shake. But the second part of the day, I just gulp it down. But I have to plug my nose. In the beginning, I was just doing like an apple or a pear. Apples are amazing. They have natural probiotics in the skin. I didn't know that. I'm just learning so much about food. So leave the skins on. Don't take your skins off of your apples. They're really, really good for you. Very, very healing. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Getting the minerals in. The natural doctors that I listened to said getting the zinc is super important. So and they said ionic zinc. So I do 5 drops of this in my shake. I'll do this twice a day. I don't work at a natural place anymore. I used to work in the chiropractic field and I always had access to nutrition, but now I'm kind of having to do some generic stuff. But it's better than nothing. I do probably 6 of these a day. I get a lot of vitamin D in me because I'm not out in the sun. I do this twice a day. Standard Process is amazing. They make all food-based nutrition, but the Echinacea Premium, I do probably 2 of these a day. And I've been experimenting. This is what has allowed me to eat. This is the most important. I should have done this first. This Aller Pro, and I'll do a close-up picture of it, but it has really good stuff in it. I bought it originally because of the stinging nettle. I learned that was really good for antihistamines, but the quercetin in it and the bromelain, there's just this combination. Now it says just to take 1 capsule. In order for me, I had to do experimenting, and it's just all been about learning. It takes me 3 of these to be able to handle food, and then I don't have any reactions anymore. So this has been my lifesaver. I make sure that I have plenty of jars of this on hand. I have it in my purse. I have it by my bed. If I start to have reactions, it's like all over the place because this has been just an absolute answer to prayer and a miracle for me to be able to eat again. I was taking this, and I still will take this if I'm having a bigger meal. Like when I had my game night with my girls over, we did taco salad. So I had taco meat on my salad. I didn't do avocado. I don't know if I'll ever eat an avocado again. But this is supposed to have the DAO enzymes in it that help your body when the food hits, your guts. And I will still take this. I don't know if it makes a difference or not. I'm just trying to heal my body, so I'm continuing to do this on big meals. I just do 1 of those with my meal. I have added in spirulina. That is some wicked stuff. It's the greenest green you've seen in your life. And oh my gosh, it turns into like, I don't even know, snag. It's just disgusting. It's slimy, gross snag when it hits water. I tried just mixing it in with water. That didn't work. I couldn't even, it was just like sticking sludge to the glass. So I did try experimenting, putting this in my detox drink. And I do want to say that when I take this, with my stuff, this has, like protein and stuff in it. I still do have to take my Allerpro just to be able to do this and detox because of what's in there. So far, I've not been able to do that alone. This attaches to toxins in your body, and they attach to the spirulina and the chlorella, and it gets it out of your body. So I am just trying to detox, get everything out of my body that shouldn't be in there. Still experimenting with how to do this. I think I would probably do capsules from now on, but I have this whole bag that I need to get through. But it will stain like everything. You're supposed to be really, really careful. And one of the things I do as like a treat is mineral water, this lime mineral water. I do have to tell you, though, be really careful because I took some magnesium tablets and then I drank some of this, and literally, you guys, I burped and it was a puff of gray smoke came out of my mouth and it scared the crap out of me. So that fizzy mineral water with the magnesium did some crazy stuff in my gut. I do want to also say the ghee. Don't cook your stuff in the olive oil. It changes the property to it. Don't high cook heat in olive oil, and ghee or avocado oil. Now I can't do avocado oil. I almost died eating an avocado. It was the worst reaction I've ever had. I had no idea. So I don't do my avocado oil anymore. Maybe in the future once I'm more healed. The Himalayan pink salt ghee, it tastes amazing, and it's so, so good for you. You get the grass-fed ghee. You can high cook in it. I do my Brussels sprouts in it. I do the olive oil over my asparagus when I have that. Anything that I cook in a pan, though, I do it in the ghee now. And that is what I do. I'm not saying that this will work for you. I'm saying this worked for me, and this was my absolute miracle, life-changing. It has made me be able to eat again. But again, it's been a journey. It took me probably 2 solid weeks where it didn't even matter if I took that or not. But I'm doing better. I have hope.